finally happened. Welcome back to my channel and to today's video where I am diving into the Undergrowth palette from Cosmic Beauty. I'm doing a first impressions quick tutorial. It's such a beautiful look and I had so much fun playing with this even though it didn't take me very long at all. So if you're interested in seeing how I did today's eyeshadow look, then stick around. It's crazy that I'm only just now diving into this palette because it's actually the second palette that I've purchased for myself in 2025, and yet I've gotten so many new ones from subscribers lately that I just had tons of new things to try, and this one fell lower on the list, not because I was less excited, but because I specifically want to compare this to the Stone and Rock from Uden's Eye. I do plan on comparing these side by side, and it's probably going to happen in this filming session, but not in today's video. In today's video, I'm only going to be doing an eyeshadow look with the beautiful, lovely, drool-worthy Undergrowth palette from Cosmic Beauty. It's so pretty. I'm really not sure what I want to do. I thought about trying to find something cooler in general. Most of these tones lean quite warm. But not all of them. I'm wearing a gray shirt. I'm not really sure what I'm going to do, but I don't have a ton of time, and I'm trying to get 2 videos filmed today. So I'm going to prime my eyes with the Glam Light Icing Primer. Everything I use is linked in the description box. I really don't have a ton of time, and so I'm not going to spend too long trying to analyze and, you know, look at the undertones and really decide what I want to do. I'm just going to dive in with something. I'm just going to dive in and see how it goes. So I think I'll start with the shade Roots because that one is calling to me. And this is my first time trying the palette at all. I finally got my hands on it. I found it on MERCARI for $30, which is more than I usually pay for secondhand items, especially given the fact that you're gonna have to pay approximately 10 more in fees and shipping. However, I figured, well, it was untouched, brand new, not even swatched, and that was a little bit lower than the website price. Plus I'd have to pay, again, even more in shipping and fees to have it sent over from the UK. So I ended up paying basically full price and saved a couple dollars. Now I'm taking Reeds. Ooh, that's a nice blending out shade. Do you guys have this palette? I drooled over this palette for so long. I wasn't certain if I would pick it up because I do have Stone and Rock, and I do really like Stone and Rock. Also, I have, a couple other palettes that are heavy on the greens because I love green. And green eyeshadow is fun, and it seems to be a good color for me, so it's something I'm likely to own a lot of. But there's something about, like, I really enjoy Cosmic Brushes as a brand. I really love their packaging for this series, like these 20 pans that they have. I own Serenity, Muse, Winter Wonderland, and recently somebody gave me the Serenity palette. Serenity? No. Sinister. I already said Serenity. The Sinister palette. And I like the formula. They're just a nice brand. They do a good job with the color stories, and everything feels like good quality. It feels nice to hold the palettes, to use the palettes, the way things are laid out, the way that the packaging feels, the soft touch with the rounded corners. I just love the whole aesthetic. And this outer packaging, amazing. So I was so tempted to get this one, and finally I just decided I don't think I could go wrong. Maybe I will end up replacing some green palettes that don't get as much use if I find that I love and just never want to reach into anything but this one, which I think there's a high likelihood of that because I really like the Cosmic Brushes formula. Someone recently asked me if I really liked their formula and would recommend that they try it, or if it was just a, yeah, I like it, you know. I think this is probably top 5, like this brand. The thing about the shimmers is they're not as thick or emollient or heavy as a lot of the indie brands. Not toppers, but also not flaky and dense. They're just a thinner coating. You still get the color, you still get the payoff, you still get the sparkle, you still get the pigment, you still get the opacity. They just don't feel as heavy and have as much of a presence, we'll say, as some of the thicker other indie shimmers. This is what we're gonna go with. I can deepen a little bit. I do have a palette pull-in, which is from the Sorceress Smoke palette. It's just a black, so I'm not going to bother with that today because I'm trying out this palette for first impression, and this one has a black. I'm going to dip into both the shade Bark, which is the black, and the shade Nettle, which is a deep green, and slightly deepen out here. So anyway, I didn't think that I could go wrong getting this palette. In fact, I was quite confident that I would enjoy it. And now it's just a matter of, do I enjoy it more than the other green heavy palettes I have? And do they have merit that I would want to end up keeping both anyway? There, look at that. That blended so nicely. No patchiness, no stickiness where it just held on and wouldn't move. It's blended quite nicely. That's pretty. Now, shimmers. I think the obvious for today is this one up here. I don't know if I want to play with that one. You know what, let me do a matte inner corner. Not a matte inner corner. Let me just do some color over here first, because I do want a pop of something a little different. I'm kind of thinking of grabbing Herbarium. And I think I want to go a little bit more green, so the shade Lichen. Oh, there's a shade called Lichen. That's so funny. Did you see the video where I tell you guys that I predicted this palette's existence? It was 8 months before Cosmic Beauty released this. I was talking about how I would love to see a green, heavy, yellowy brown palette from Cosmic Beauty, and how I could envision the packaging being like a glimpse of sky through a leafy tree canopy or something. Yeah, that's fun. And how it could be called something like Undergrowth or Lichen or Moss or something like that. Yeah, I should get an award for that. It was on point. I've picked up the shade Wilderness, and I'm using a flat brush just out of curiosity. Oh, that's lovely. Okay, really pretty. Definitely a little bit more like a, I mean, it's warm, right? It's a warm tone, obviously, but it's not an intense gold. I think it has a little flip of green somewhere in there, maybe. Now I'm going to take Vegetation, which is the one that seems to make the most sense with my shirt, and that's exactly why I didn't want to use it. Or at least I didn't want to use it on most of my lid space. And I feel like this shade here would obviously be a better match for that one. And for this inner corner, I was considering grabbing the Mint Herbarium. So I'm all over the place, right? I'm not complaining. It's just fun to play. I will take Herbarium now and put this on the lower lash line. I've always found that Cosmic does a pretty good job with their pastels. You know, a lot of pastels, because they have a white base, they can be very, very powdery, or they can just disappear entirely, or they can act kind of like neons, where once you start blending, they start getting patchy. I really haven't noticed any big problems with the Cosmic Brushes formula. On the whole, it's really nice. Back into Roots and Nettle with this same small brush, just to deepen out here. And I'm going to keep this pretty tight to my lashes. And then with a looser blending brush, I'm going back into Reeds, just to bring a smidge of that yellowy tone, even though it's kind of like a yellow gray or like a sandbar sort of color, only not as warm. So again, my gut was telling me to use the Herbarium shade, which is this minty green, at my inner corner, and that would have worked. And then there wouldn't be the competition, or the conversation, we'll say, between the cool shimmer and the warm shimmer. It would have worked out better with a cool inner corner into the cool shimmer, into the warm shimmer, and the warm outer corner. But that's not what I decided to do, because I wanted to keep it a little more interesting. And if I had done what was expected, what my gut was saying, oh yeah, absolutely, that's just a natural flow, then it wouldn't have made it as interesting for me. It would have been beautiful, and it probably would have made more sense. But because I've got this warm, cool, warm sandwich effect going on, the inner corner is a lot more poppy and dynamic, because it doesn't fit in as well. But then I did bring that cooler shade onto the lower lash line, so it's kind of like a sandwich of cool tones with the warm inner corner, cool upper and lower space, and then I go warmer out here again. Anyway, I'm not complaining. I think it's beautiful, and that's the point. The point is to just be creative and play around and see how things work out. So I'm going to do the other side off camera. I'm going to throw my brush, I'm going to close my palette, and I'll be right back to show you guys how everything looks all said and done, and then maybe I'll be lucky enough to have enough time to film my second video. Okay, this is how the look is finished off. I think it's gorgeous. I love it. I think it's so pretty. Are we surprised? Anyone? Yes? No, no one's surprised. Nobody's surprised. Waterline, I use this color from ColourPop. This is the shade Aglow. Yes, Aglow. And I have mascara on. A friend sent me this mascara. She said it was her favorite, and I'm actually enjoying the wand, because it has this little cluster of bristles at the end that go all directions, and it's really helpful for getting where the lash lines meet and the little lashes that go up the edge without like painting yourself. I don't love the way that it washes off. I get little flecks of mascara all around my eyes. I've heard people talk about tubing mascaras and I guess non-tubing mascaras. I don't know what the difference is. I don't know which one I prefer. I just don't like the way that this washes off because I get these little flakes everywhere. But anyway, I do really like the wand. On my lips, I'm wearing the e.l.f. Glow Reviver Lip Oil Honey Talks, and that's it. So yeah, the palette so far, first impressions, unsurprised, beautiful. Exactly what I was expecting. The blend is beautiful. I layered 3 shadows on the outer corner. I have basically 2 shadows on the inner corner in the much lighter tones, so more pastel leaning, and I didn't have any problems with them. I have had no patchiness, like no kick up in the pan, no fallout on my face. I did get a little sparkle on my face, but it could have been from my finger. I just, so far, so happy with this. And again, that's exactly what I was expecting. I'm in no way surprised. I think it's lovely. So what I'm gonna do now, because I think I'll have time, is film a little comparison video. So if you're interested in seeing how this palette compares to Stone and Rock from Udenzi, keep an eye on my channel because that's gonna come soonish. Anyway, I'd love to hear your thoughts, of course, on the eye look, on the video, on the palette. Do you have the Undergrowth palette? What do you think? I am totally unsurprised that I'm very impressed. So good things all around. I can't wait to play with it more now that I've officially dived. I said divin. Now that I have officially dived into it. Yep. Okay, so, I can edit that out, but I don't think I will. Now that I have officially dived into the Undergrowth palette and taken my brush and played with some of the shadows, I'm looking forward to playing with it more because I do think this is easily going to become one of my top favorites. Again, nobody's shocked by this. So perhaps you'll consider liking and subscribing before you go. I have a cosmetic beauty playlist. I have a bunch of other playlists on my channel. I'm like the playlist maven. So check out my description box if you're interested in seeing that. You can always search my channel for pretty much any brand I've ever featured has a playlist with like 2 or 3 exceptions. And there we go. I look forward to seeing you again in my next video and sharing this lovely hobby with you guys. Have a great day. Bye.